listening to
We're gonna kick in again.
89.3 FM.
That's brilliant.
Station.
Action.
It's just insane and I love it.
Entertainment.
Hey guys, it's Selena Gomez.
Hey, this is Ed Sheeran.
Hey guys, it's Taylor Swift.
Entrepreneurs.
You need to learn this business, and this is the time to do it.
And empowerment.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get in the game.
It's Friday.
I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday.
YB Moody, shake that
Well, I'm
booty.
definitely not moody, and I'm not definitely. I'm excited because it's
Okay,
Friday.
David. Yeah,
I'm
sure,
excited.
sure.
And let's share our story about Easter. Why traffic is chaotic.
goodness.
You would think, right, with the worldwide problem with
the
Iran,
petrol.
with the petrol, man, there's still so many people on the road. What's going on up there, Miss Valentina?
I have no idea, David.
Yeah?
I really don't. And they are telling us to get off the road, use public transport as much as possible.
I know, and there's a lot of talk about limiting on how many petrol that you can actually...
$40 as a capped?
Oh my God, come on. This is in the 60s. They had something like this similar because I was speaking to another lady the other day and she goes, Dave, I remember when I was in the 60s or the 50s, they did this, right?
Sure.
So it's $40 cap and then it's like they do like a special ticketing. So they
Right.
call your number out, you can fuel, but it's only $40 or $30 a cap.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, mate, what is the world
Why
going
don't we just
to?
get electric bikes and just
Here
ride
we go.
around?
Here we go back to electric. Everyone hated electric. They want to get rid of electric. And now this just gives another example why they say
Another
we should
reason.
buy electric
Electric
cars.
cars,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm like, bloody, what is the world?
Anyway, well, what's so important today is we've got a special guest.
Yes, we have Benson Cheung in the studio with us.
Welcome.
Happy Easter, my friend. Happy Easter.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So I heard that the little bee told me you actually caught the train in.
I definitely did. So I sympathize with all the traffic,
Yes.
but I decided to go the long way round.
Smart move. Smart move.
Yeah, wet weather and everything.
Yes.
You know, let's give public transport a go.
Easter's around the corner. Are you planning to celebrate? Are you traveling anywhere?
You know, being a parent is tough these days, and so I'm going to be a bit of a dance dad and
Okay.
taking one of my daughters to a dance camp up in Brisbane.
Wow.
How many kids do you have?
Two kids?
I've got two. I've got
Okay.
two. This is a younger one. The hopefully the older one is going to be on her way to the US
Nice.
for her dance trip
Wow.
and her school dance tour.
Man, you
yeah.
look too young to have two kids, mate.
I think it's all dying of the hair.
Yeah.
you know.
It's the Asian genes.
The Asian genes,
Benson.
right? Yeah.
Thank your mom
Yeah.
and dad.
Well,
I
yeah.
would say you'd be 18, 19
Yeah,
when
he
you're walking
does.
down the
He's very
street.
young.
Got to thank them a lot for a lot of things, right?
Yes, yes. So you're the co-founder. Is that a Physical Photos Worldwide?
We have, let's say, sister companies. Capture.com exists
Yeah.
in the US. Capture.Hong
Capture,
Kong
yeah.
is where I started off with. And of course, I've got partnerships in Australia now, capture-aus.com. So any one of those, you'll find us. We digitize your physical photos. It's been pretty hard before because you have to use old type scanners. So we've got a camera system. In about 5 seconds, we can do about 20 photos for you.
Wow. That's impressive.
So where did that idea come from originally, though?
You know, I think this kind of thing is where, you know, the origin story is quite interesting. My business partner, his grandma passed away. They had hundreds of albums, and when they arrived at the family home afterwards, everyone started taking their photos out of these albums, right, one by one. Oh, that's me. Let me grab that. But that seemed a shame because you're not really capturing the whole legacy
that's right.
and everybody's, you know, pictures and memories here. So, well, maybe let's do something about it. Let's try something different. You know, all these scanners, you got to clean them a lot. They get stuck, the jam. So let's go for something different. So with a friend, another friend in California, us three, we founded this photo system in Hong Kong, and then we swapped it. We took the video from the US, gave them our photo, and then 4 years later, here we are, about 3 to 4 million photos done in the last year or so.
David, you must have lots of photos.
Oh, man, I have
family
heaps.
memories, right?
I have heaps of photos.
So
I
that-
have heaps of
So
photos.
that you probably could get them all treasured.
But then that's interesting because I've noticed now a lot of people are using apps and all that to upload photos.
Absolutely.
So that's a genius idea, Benson. Like that's amazing. So are you worldwide or?
Not quite. We're mostly in those three areas, like Canada, North America, Hong Kong, and Australia.
Wow, that's amazing, eh?
I was telling Benson I had lots of photos and I had to scan them like 3 photos, like group by group.
Yeah.
And
painful.
And that was during COVID.
Oh my God. Because
So-
you were bored. She had nothing else better to do, right?
Yeah, I
As
think-
you do.
Yeah, exactly as you. So look, a couple of photos, and if you've got time, I think there's no barrier really
Yeah.
to doing that. But I
Yeah.
think when people don't have time, to think about one weekend to get 6,000 done, which we've done.
Nobody
but
has time.
Nobody has time to do
Benson.
that.
And especially the older folks, they don't know how to use technology.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's something.
So we want the service to help people.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
So what's the process? Tell us a bit about the process. Is it a web link?
We've got a website. Basically, in Australia, the easiest way is find one of our partners. They're real shops, real people, real trustworthy services there. Some are photo shops, some are photo frames, some are framers, some are restorers. And simply drop your albums with them. They've got our technology installed. So it's a service. And, a couple of days later, or a week or so later, you come back, they'll give you all the digitized photos for you.
So is it like per photo you charge them? How does it work?
I think we're aiming for per photo, but if you think about like $8 or $15 of one photo, that's just too much money, right?
Yeah.
So here, all the partners can charge a lot less, roughly about $1 or even less than that, depending on the number. And so just drop it off. Like, it's simple. You don't need to do anything. That's it.
So you grew up in Australia and Hong Kong.
Absolutely. So I've been bouncing, I guess. I'm thankful again to my parents. There's a common theme here, thankful for everything.
Yeah.
But I bounced between Canberra, Sydney, Hong Kong in my studies. And then I worked mostly overseas. But that's where this whole history of Australia, I was born in Canberra, forgive me for that.
They're a bit slow going in Canberra.
Where's Canberra again?
Yeah.
But remember, I think they say boredom gives you,
Absolutely, the creativity.
creativity.
Yeah.
So true.
And you know what? It's a slower pace. It's nicer too. In a
Really?
different way. Yeah, in a different way.
I get bored up in Canberra.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like it's too big and everything's kind of scattered everywhere.
Okay.
And
That's a
then-
good thing.
I guess it's good. You're used to it. But for me, I like people. I like close, you know what I mean? So I guess it depends.
Okay, so David doesn't like boredom. Okay. we got it.
Yeah, that's right. So you've been on 25 years on the road. What's one lesson you learned that you can share with us? 25 years on the road, bouncing left, right, and centre.
I think probably my biggest lesson there is wherever you bounce to, I think you got to make the most of it.
Sure.
I think don't lean into the past so much because you are where you are. You've got to not think about, hey, it was so much better there, or so much worse here. And I think that changes your mindset in terms of what you can actually achieve
true, I
and
agree.
how you reach out, how you talk to people about it.
But is there like a home though that you would consider?
I think home has been Hong Kong for quite some time. More recently, this year and a half, Australia. My family's come over here. The origin story there is my eldest. She represented Australia for a little while doing ice skating.
Wow.
So she had
What's
the
her
opportunity. Haley. So she had the
hi,
opportunity.
Haley.
Hi, Haley, if you're listening to this. But she represented Hong Kong, then had a chance to represent Australia.
Oh, she's so talented. It sounds like.
Bloody hell, that's amazing.
So being a dad though, it must be a whole different world for you.
I think most parenting is tough when you think about planning.
Okay.
When you get into it, it's even tougher.
Okay.
And at the other end, now she's quite old, and she doesn't really need us anymore. Then sometimes
Okay.
it's also even tougher as
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
right? The empty nesters and so on.
Sure.
So I think it's just very different stages there.
Correct.
Valentina.
How old is she?
She's 17.
Well, she's ready to move on. She's like got her own independence already.
I think she stole the car today, so
Oh.
she's on her P's already. Let's say.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's right there, David.
Yeah. Is that the reason why you're on a train?
There was another reason why I was on the train, but
Sure, fair enough.
yeah,
And
fair
you
enough.
know, like being on the train is it's nice boredom too, and you feel like a traveller too.
Yes.
So what's the difference
absolutely.
parenting and chairing on the Children's Cancer Foundation in Hong Kong?
So I think I fell into that a little bit naturally, but even before that, from a corporate perspective, I had been doing a lot of corporate work with big retailers like Marks and Spencer. And the feeling sometimes as a team, sometimes there's no one to do these odd jobs like employee volunteering,
Sure.
or hey, we need to do something here and rally the troops, and no one's got the time. So I fell into that as well, being the leader or management sponsor for a lot of these activities. Whether it's like single mothers who have to give up their baby. So I was doing it for some time, and then at some point in time, CCF, the Children's Cancer Foundation Hong Kong, they reached out to me, and then they said, hey, with some of your experiences, would you mind joining and sharing your journey, but also supporting the organization, with a slightly different lens.
Sure. So you're more hands-on.
I have been hands-on to the extent that I've also been kind of chief of staff, CEO for the organization at some points when the leadership had to change, when we're hiring CEOs. So pretty hands-on in terms of managing the team like that. But I've been lucky, I think, because a lot of the roles I've had, there's been some flexibility, and even though sometimes they say it's lonely at the top, sometimes you get a bit of flexibility too, to say, hey, team, help me sort this out. I need to do something else.
Correct.
Support some Google 20% time, let's say.
All right, let's hold that thought. You are tuning in to 3 Quarters, 89.3 FM. It is Friday. Why be moody? You're going to shake your booty. John Benson, I'm expecting you to shake your booty, mate. Don't just sit there and smile.
Good. I'll get it next time round.
Your daughter's a dancer. You think you learned some dance move from your daughter. You know what I'm saying?
You've got to wonder where the genes came from, really.
Well, maybe not from you then.
Okay, you hit the nail on the head there.
That's it.
Having 2 daughters, you mentioned the empty wallet with a smile, but raising teenagers, particularly after everything you've been through, I imagine that's shaped how you talk to them about resilience and setbacks.
I think, as always, as a parent, sometimes they don't like listening to you particularly.
Yeah. Really?
So I'd probably send them your way.
Okay.
No, she doesn't listen to me either, mate. Wrong. We're not a good example.
I've got 2 daughters too.
I think partially it's modeling something sometimes.
Okay.
Just the doing, I think, refutes the suggestion that they've got to follow you, firstly. But maybe just by doing more of it, then you can, kind of see that, that's kind of more normal. So therefore, for them, it tweaks and twigs. Maybe they do more of that.
Benson, do you feel that the stubbornness and argumentness, DNA in a female, is because of the mother?
Davey, just because you've got 2 daughters too, we gang up on our dads, yes.
I think there's as a dad of daughters, there's a certain way we look at things, Davey, right?
Correct.
Obviously. So I think as a mum, if we had boys, you'd also have a flip side.
Flip side.
So the best match probably there is kind of have really good friends who are female.
Yeah.
For you, Davey, that have boys, and then you kind of swap them over.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my tip for the day.
I like that.
Are you protective, Dad?
I think there's, in this world where there's access to so much, it's hard to protect them.
Yeah.
So maybe the best way is ask them to think a little bit more for themselves.
Okay.
And I would say, yes, I try to. I just give you one example, like YouTube. There's not an advertisement for them, but maybe paying for it gets rid of a lot of the ads. So just do small things like that they don't need to run through.
Apparently last night there was a lawsuit against social media, and I think one child actually
Is it with Meta and YouTube?
Yeah. Did she die or committed suicide or something?
Oh no, different stories.
And then they reward her $8.3 million.
Oh my goodness.
So they're basically proving that social media has been programmed into the children, and their brain cells and their lateral thinking, all that is affected by social media. So this is going to open up a whole lawsuit against social media with young kids.
Do you let your kids go on social media?
I think the younger one, the school has been pretty good with that.
They lock their phone now, don't they?
So she has a version of a phone which doesn't do much more than calling and some messaging. But the studies show social media under 16 is really where the tricky part is. But there's not many kids who don't have access.
Dumb phone, they call that. Dumb phone.
Dumb phone. Yes. A lot of people are going back to the dumb phone.
Yeah, I like the dumb phone.
I would be happy to go back to the dumb phone.
I've got 2 dumb phones at home, but I just don't know how to use it because I'm...
Let's not go there, Davey.
Simplicity is not your thing, Davey.
I'm used to the high tech, and I'm going, oh, shit, how do you move the buttons? But tell me about judging between family and work commitments. Are you an entrepreneur? You work full-time? Sure. How does that work between family and running a business?
I think people smarter than me have probably given me some insight. So I think ex-CEO, one of the ex-CEOs of Coca-Cola, he said in life, you're juggling quite a few balls all the time. So one of these is probably business or sporting events or something where it's kind of like a rubber ball. If you drop it, it kind of bounces, depending how high you kind of survive. But family is probably like a bit of a glass ball. If you drop it, it's quite difficult to recover from some of those things. So I take that view where I think I would probably prioritize a bit more the family. But having juggled a lot of bouncing rubber balls, I think it's not exactly the hardest thing, but you got to let some of them drop. I think for the benefit of your sanity sometimes.
Sure. You dropped a lot of balls, Davey, in your life.
Hang on. I don't know what ball you're playing with. We're talking about glass balls and plastic balls.
And rubber balls.
Yes, and rubber
He's
balls.
got basketballs, don't worry.
But my question here, Benson, is that when you mention glass balls, right, with the family, it should be the rubber ball with the family, right? Because they need to understand as men, we out there juggling day and night, working, supporting the family and all that. So if we drop something, they should forgive us, right? Not glass ball and get upset with us. Go, that's it, you're in a corner because you drop a bloody glass ball.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of got to rejig what, who owns what, perhaps.
Yeah.
And when you do become in a relationship, not just yourself, I guess that glass ball becomes a little bit more tempered. If you have a family, you got to temper it a little bit more.
Yes.
Eventually, there's pretty good glass out there, right? On your phone, it's Gorilla Glass or something like that. It doesn't break when you drop it.
Sure.
So I think you got to work together at it, Davey. That would be my answer in a kind of roundabout way.
Just be a yo-yo. That's what I say. Just don't touch the ground.
Be a yo-yo.
So, do you think life is about luck?
I think there's moments where you think back, and my journey on a career started with something on a notice board. Hey, we're looking for some people who have some technical background at the university here in Sydney. Come back to Hong Kong and come to UK if you like. So I signed up, and on went 17 years of my life with a company just from a notice board advert, let's say. But I think if I didn't fly around and if I didn't go for it, if I didn't try, then I guess that luck passes.
I think to answer that question, Valentina, is that 80% is luck. Because I actually ran into a millionaire too, and he was saying to me about 6 months ago, he goes, believe it or not, right, when it comes down to either you have luck and the other 30% is action. Once you have the luck coming, you're going to need to action it. And this is where a lot of people, when they see opportunity in front of them, they just can't see it. They let it go. It's like a diamond. If everyone wants to buy a diamond at, say, 1.2 mil, but then there's a rock there, you could actually work on that rock becomes a diamond, right? So a lot of people don't want to buy the rock because the rock looks like dull and boring. It doesn't work. Whereas they go and buy the diamond. So this business guy said to me, sometimes you need to look at the diamond. Not a diamond, you look at the rock. Because you work on the rock because that is your luck. But if you don't recognize that as luck, then you let it go. Someone else is going to get it. So I thought about it does make sense. Sometimes lucks present to you in many ways. You just got to know how to grab that luck and work on it.
Yeah, just rub the genie, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's part of me that I do agree with you. I think everyone is born with luck. I think we all have different degrees of luck that comes in. And some of us have, if we're talking about metaphysical and astrology.
You believe in spiritual?
And spiritual, but in astrology there is what is called the lucky star.
Yes.
And some people actually have the lucky star right through their life.
That's luck. That's good.
Yeah. So like I said, some people have different degree levels.
Yeah. So going back there, you mentioned that you were building a global supply chain for Marks and Spencer. Tell us a bit about that corporate journey.
Yeah. So I think they're really my getting in the door was that kind of lucky piece, but I think what it was, hey, here's a project, let's help in a different way. So I think the two things come to mind. One was helping on product. So I think I've created the safest soft toy there is in the world.
Okay.
So if you think of a soft toy, mostly like a bag, then you sew it, inside there's stuffing and there's pellets. But if it breaks, these things come out. It's not really great for your baby or for your kids. So what we did and what I investigated as a technical guy at Marks & Spencer was, hey, how do I make it safe? So very simply, I doubled the bag. So we've got a bag within a bag. So within the arm, within everything. It made it real technical hell for a lot of our manufacturers. You all know Jellycat now because it's really in check, but they were our main supplier. So I visited factories around the world, Sri Lanka, China, and we implemented this. So I think we had the safest soft toy, or we still do, I think, in Marks & Spencer. But then, then I transitioned to other roles, helping in different ways. Like Benson, we've got to really protect the brand a little bit in a sense. The risk equation is hazard times exposure. So once we have more of a products with more people, we're going to make sure it's safe. So I went around the world looking at our factory conditions, making sure no child labor, it was safe, people wouldn't have
ethical,
accidents.
social responsibility.
Definitely. So I took on that role. And then quality role. Benson, go buy us some TVs. I didn't know much about TVs. Let's go learn about TVs. But also, we want this to come in more sustainable packaging. But TVs even now are in polystyrene. Big,
that's right.
So Benson, let's do something. So we engineered the cardboard to then protect the TV, a really big TV, and make that work. So I think we saved about 2 Volkswagen, that's 4 tons of polystyrene.
That's
which is
a lot.
Very good. So that's kind of the journey to build different things, have different offices in different places.
Is that why you didn't leave? It's because of
they kept. I did. On the side, of course, I would also obviously always look at different opportunities, but they kept giving me bigger roles and more people, start this, start that. So I feel there's a bit of a builder experience there without me knowing, but within a company. But I do, when you look back, you see, well, it wasn't too bad staying with a company, but being able to have different opportunities. So that's the luck a little bit, where it's better to be lucky than to be good sometimes.
Correct.
Right.
So when did you start being an entrepreneur? Like after 17 years?
I had two more roles after that. Again, more in sourcing. One of them doing high volume food marketing products. For example, working with brands like Disney and Jamie Oliver. 1 million knives in a month. That's a big number for manufacturing.
Wow.
Even the biggest retailers don't sell that many knives in 1 month.
This is online or just wholesale?
In the supermarkets.
That's a lot of knives.
That's a lot of knives.
That's a lot of knives.
So all that redemption you see now in a lot of the supermarkets.
Yes.
That's what we did. And then I worked for Cath Kidston, the UK designer brand with lots of flowers, lots of prints as well, but also a bit of sustainability in there, make things sustainable. But that was also during COVID, so real tough times.
Yeah.
So the entrepreneur question, I was having such a difficult time because COVID, when you're doing sourcing and you want to travel, what happened? We couldn't travel, right?
That's right.
I was a bit glum, and I encountered my friend again, who's the origin story. Wanted to do something about photos.
Yeah.
Benson, you've built a lot of offices. Why don't you come and help us do this? Let's start something on the operational side for this.
Love that. Folks, you are tuning in with the 3 Quirks, like 89.3 FM. We're here with Benson Cheung. We'll be right back after this. We're talking about luck and we're talking about success. Now, before we go further into, we should get to know Benson a bit more, right? Because it's Friday, people driving home, it's wet, and everyone's moody. So let's get a quirky. I'm not moody. I'm just bloody exhausted from running around all bloody week.
So it's the 5 quirky questions time. Like, all right, Benson, are you ready?
I'm ready almost.
Okay. All right. Question number 1. You've digitized over 3.7 million photos worldwide. Have you ever come across someone else's photos and thought, I really shouldn't have seen that?
Wow.
All the time, probably.
I think people forget what they've got in the album.
Yes.
That's my diplomatic way of doing it. Secondly, though, a lot of our processes are automated. So we're not necessarily
see everything.
always recording what we look at. But probably when you're young, you've probably had pictures taken of you when you were young without many clothes on.
Yeah.
So obviously those are the ones where...
Valentino starts all the time. There's a whole collection.
I'm trying not to imagine this, Davey.
Excuse me, Davey. It is PG.
It is Friday afternoon.
That was the reason why she's asking you, because she wants to know if she's going to put it in. Are you going to see?
But the other side is...
Sorry. Everyone's allowed to have like new
There's nothing
things.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
There are a lot of really cool pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Obviously, we're not allowed to share these. And,
Correct.
famous people or
Yeah.
interesting
That's it.
landmarks.
That's it.
And,
Oh,
but the key
sure.
point is, I think all of them are authentic because
Yes.
that's the age where it's real. When you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower,
Yes.
there are 20 people around you doing strange things. You're stiff as a board.
Yeah.
But now...
Yeah.
Or you pull your shirts up and you show them your titties, mate.
Right now,
And they
there's-
do that.
Now
That's
you've
what
got to
you
do
do, David.
selfies and you've got to do other things.
You have
like-
to pose.
That's
and you have
right.
to be perfect. And you've got
Correct.
20 photos of the one
So
pose.
the authenticity
That's
is the best part when
I
when
agree.
when you see these.
I
things.
agree. And no, I totally agree. Anyway, question number 2. Let's move on. 2 teenage daughters and an empty wallet. Be honest. What's the most outrageous thing they've ever talked you into paying for?
I think I don't really want to know about the ones that I'm paying for. That I did pay for, but I think my eldest daughter, now that she's on her P's and driving, I think she's kind of like talked herself into the family car being hers. So
Okay.
I feel a bit outraged. Most of the time when I don't have the car, but I understand it's probably for a good reason.
And did you pay for
better
those driving lesson, though? Did you pay for those driving lesson?
I did.
Okay.
In this case, so that was outrageously expensive, but I appreciate the guidance because she probably would never have listened to me. At the
Wow.
start,
Yeah,
right?
True.
Sure.
Bloody
You got to
kids.
do what you got to do.
That's right.
Question 3. You lived in Hong Kong and Australia. If you had to eat only one cuisine for the rest of your life,
Wow.
Cantonese or Australian, and you can't say fusion, what are you choosing and why?
If it's for the rest of my life, I think I'd probably have to go a little bit the, barramundi fish and salad.
Oh.
Because I think that's the healthiest way to go. So that would be my answer for the rest with that context for the
Sure.
rest of my life.
Sure.
Well, you've been too conservative there. I think. At the end of the day,
Fish oils and greens.
yeah, true.
You need to keep your body's a temple.
True.
That's the kind of context that I'm looking at here.
is that what you're saying to yourself? Your body's a temple.
But if it wasn't, I'd have a lot of egg tarts. Those
Egg
are
tarts.
Oh my
favorite.
God, me too.
Well, let me ask you something here, right? When you go to the supermarket, right, and you're shopping, you're in the health department. Can you try deodorant before buying it?
Try deodorant.
Yeah. Should we be able to try before we buy it? Because we don't know what it smells like, this and that. So we should be able to try it, right?
If you're going deodorant specific,
Yeah.
then I'd take it up a level and probably go to more of these like duty-free stores and go there. 'Cause you can try.
Really? I didn't know that. Really? I didn't know that.
Probably they
Take
allow you
note,
to try.
take note, David.
All those perfumes, right? But generally speaking, deodorants aren't that great for you. So
That's right. You should
Yes.
stay away. It's,
just-
chemicals.
Correct.
Toxic.
I think nobody likes BO per se, but
But you should. There's non-toxic.
There is.
Yeah.
There's
And-
some
and
that's
there's
got
barely
non-aluminium.
there's
in
a lot
it.
of oils out there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
things
yeah.
to mask a little bit
Yeah.
of that. But
Correct.
some of it comes down to what you eat as well, right?
True.
So if I'm eating barramundi and salad, I think it's going to be different to if I eat kimchi or something
Yes.
strong.
True.
And,
100%. 100%. I agree with that. All right. Question number 4.
Go for it.
You built global supply chains for Mark and Spencer for 17 years. That means you have an unusually strong opinion about socks.
Okay.
Do you think?
I think socks are pretty underrated.
Underrated, is it?
Really?
Because I think there's two things going on with socks. Either there's two camps. You either need them or you don't need them.
Yeah. We need them.
Right. A lot of people, the Italians, as I understand it, stereotypically don't like to wear a lot of socks. And they may have more like cork insoles and
Cork
and all that kind of
insoles.
thing. 'Cause
Oh, yes.
there you go. Like if you think about the most famous the bee
Birkenstock,
stocks.
yes.
But what do they have? You kind of like wear them. Nowadays, you wear them with socks, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But normally, you should be without socks, right? 'Cause
Right.
there's natural, antibacterial.
Interesting.
But socks, I think, on a different end, give you some kind of personality.
It does.
Yeah.
When you guys are on stage and you cross your legs on stage up
Yeah.
there,
Oh,
yeah.
and you're wearing pink socks
Yeah.
or Vegemite socks, people will look up and say, "Wow, that's a good question or a good
Yeah.
topic." So I think that there's a usefulness of having.
And do you
socks.
think people judge you on what kind of socks you wear?
They can be judgy, but
Yeah.
I think you don't need to care
Okay.
because I think you want to be interesting these days, right?
You do.
Black and blue is pretty boring, but I'm unfortunately I'm pretty boring today.
Yeah.
I love it that socks there's like different designs.
Oh, there's hundreds of designs with
so
socks.
It's so
and there's
cool.
so many businesses, so many good causes as well.
Yeah.
And
Some
then,
of these,
but you know what? I can then when you do see a design, you're like, oh, that's his kind of like his
I never
personality.
thought of that, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they tend to, well, underwear you can't really show,
No.
honestly.
Please don't.
Okay, so
I won't stand up right now.
So if that's the case, why do they spend so much money on underwear? Because no one's going to see it, really, right?
I believe it's kind of this imaginative and wishful thinking that you have.
Yeah.
That's very related to 50 Shades and all
Yes.
this kind of picture in your mind.
True.
But socks is much more practical.
Right. It's a valid point. It's a valid point.
It is a valid point because
Yeah.
I have to raise it because it's there is a founder called Happy Socks and he's made millions of dollars.
Yes.
His father helped him. He's
I think he's even neurodiverse and
That's right,
everything.
that's
so
right.
I think there's no barrier to you doing great
Mm.
things.
And it makes him happy to create designs on socks. And I thought, this is
Wow.
fantastic. But anyway, I just thought, out of all of your products that you have at Marks & Spencer, I think socks is an interesting topic.
It's a cool factor.
Yeah.
It's a cool factor.
Cool factor.
Absolutely. All right. Last question. If luck had a smell, what would it smell like for you?
Wow. I love the scent of like a lemon sorbet.
Lemon sorbet.
So I think
You
it's kinda
can eat
subtle.
lemon sorbet too. That's nice.
And I like that. Something different, a bit tangy because sometimes you really feel that luck when you're in it.
Okay.
But honestly, sometimes you got to just manifest that luck, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a little bit to your point, Davey. It comes to you. Sometimes take it. If you don't have it, basically, I would say work on it. Right?
Yeah.
We're in the lucky country here in Australia.
Used to be a
And the
lucky country.
safest. And the safest
Yes,
at the
yes,
moment.
yes.
But people who aren't here feel it's lucky. People
Yes.
who are here maybe don't. But start with yourself. Start with a friend, a partner, relationship, family, and very soon you're kind of extending this and helping others globally.
Sure.
You're putting Australia on the map.
Sure.
And I think then the smell of this lemon tangy thing.
I
is
love
gonna
it.
come out.
It's fresh, refreshing. Now, let's talk about going into entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Starting up a
Great.
business. So there's a lot of listeners who are listening in and want to know, taking the jump. What advice do you give to people who are thinking about it or are in it?
Sure. I think there's two things sometimes what happens. One is you're forced into it. Let's say you don't have a job and let's just start something, right? On the other hand, is that you're probably doing a great job in something, but you're really exploring, and there's so many opportunities now. For me, I think the two roads are pretty equal. But you've really got to change your mindset when you try to start a business or startup. And I think I term startups as anything from vocational to tech. Don't think of it as just techies startup. But your mindset really has to change into a position where actually, for example, I don't like using phones or computers. Challenges me. In a startup, actually, you probably got to do a lot of things.
Heaps of things.
I was a COO potentially in my startup. Let's say, give it a title. I was kind of CFO, CHRO,
Marketing, accounting.
marketing.
Yes.
Like at the start, kind of you got need to do every job. So be prepared for this because I think there's a transition there, and I think that's where I always advise people have different personas in your mind. You have got the real you, the happy socks person. You may not take this happy socks into the startup world because you might be judged, right?
Yes.
But have that persona where, all right, I'm willing to try things. Can I come out of my comfort zone?
Okay.
If I'm willing to take a risk. That's kind of the doing and action you
Yeah,
mentioned
that's
to
correct.
get lucky. And if you don't have that, I think it's not a bad thing to have a career with a stable job. But you really have that mindset change to help you transition.
But when you're talking about secure career, I believe that within the next 20 years, there won't be such a secure
it might not
job.
exist anymore, right?
That's correct. So now it's very good to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and what I mean by secure is when you have a salary. I think there's a saying, right? When you have a salary, you're kind of trapped because it's comfortable. When you're in entrepreneurship, the E for me stands out to being extremely busy. It could be extremely poor because there's no income. But I think the other E is like you do everything, right? So that's very different from having a role and having a job.
Yes.
So you've got to really think about this very differently. And sometimes what it is in a startup is or earlier career, you're either earning or you're learning. Right?
Love
So
that.
Kind
That's
of
good.
take this kind of approach. You know, which version of yourself do you want in this startup?
100%.
Love that. Love that.
Now, what's next for you?
I recently jumped into the dreaded AI space. So having started off with helping people with product, helping people a little bit on the on the charity side, of course, helping people with their memories and legacy. There's a bit of a theme here. Try to I would call that give to get a little bit. Like try to give a little bit more. Hopefully get something back, maybe later. Now I'm helping a company called Embrace. We do enterprise AI operating systems. So basically think about that. OpenClaw is very famous these days. What it is software that connects to everything you've got, your emails, send it a message or do something for you remotely. So we've got the enterprise version. So here, I think my thought process is it's kind of like what they term Mac OS, right? Like a Mac. It just works. Like AI is far too complicated. So if we're able to just make it work for a lot more people in these larger organizations, then you're really helping them think about their actual workflow, their job. Use AI and make it better. Right? Don't use AI like a chatbot just for productivity, which everybody can do now, but do things like, hey, I don't look at this spreadsheet anymore. Can you do some more work on it and then come back to me with a few more answers that helps me do my job better? So really, hopefully, my hope is transform people's lives with this kind of AI operating system.
Love that. Love that.
Wow.
Well, definitely more unemployment in the future. As a positive.
I think we're going to redeploy, Davey, is kind of where I'm going with this. Like, redeploy people. For example, I'm trying to claw this back because I think this is where the government got into trouble a little bit. Because as soon as they talk about AI, people are going to say, hey, we've got to cut people. But no. If you're a domain expert and you've been doing a job in X number of years...
And that's 10%. What happened to the other 90%?
The other 90% can help you do that now, right? So that's where you use AI as a tool.
But I think the thing is, AI, it's such a... maybe not a new thing. It is new to a lot of people, and it's something that you have to get on board. But I have to tell people AI is not the only thing.
And also the thing is this, right? I see a lot of large corporation wanting to replace people, right? And then think about this. 2050, nobody's working. Who's going to buy your McDonald's? Who's going to buy your Apple iPhone? Who's going to buy your bloody cars?
Exactly.
Have you thought about that? Corporates out there?
Circle, right?
You know what I mean?
I think for me, AI, I would equate that to internet or Google search,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Actually, it didn't really make us smarter. AI is slightly different. It's going to augment us in very different ways. You could have a robot go get your McDonald's for you very soon, Davey. But actually, you could book a robot to play pickleball with you. But I don't think that's kind of that fun. You know,
correct.
You're missing a social aspect.
Correct.
You know what?
Correct.
You know what? Hiring a friend might be the new thing.
Yeah, but then you're going to pay for it. How are you going to pay for it? You don't buy their work, right?
And a lot of these robots, don't forget, it's very invasive because they're seeing a lot of stuff.
That's correct.
And somebody's they're using this data. Right?
Yeah. So it is dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
Plus, it's a
That's
good
correct.
thing.
That's correct. Well, anyway, mate, your time is up, Benson.
Wow.
Thank you so much for
so
joining
fast,
us.
you know.
I know. So where can we find you? Where are you? Are you
should
up
we
in
follow
space
you?
somewhere?
I think, unfortunately, these days I'm kind of living in LinkedIn. So
Okay,
reach
so
out to
LinkedIn.
me. It's just Benson Cheung. After anything that you have on LinkedIn, reach out to me there. You'll be able to find me. Capture-aus.com is where I can help you. All my partners can help you with memories. The CCF, the Children's Cancer Foundation, that's also live. If you search for that. And Embrace is also live too. So
Bloody hell.
Wow.
I'm wherever you want to be.
Man of
love
many
it.
talents.
Love
Thank
it.
you, my friend. Have a good weekend.